We'll call the we'll call the December 7th Planning Commission meeting into session. The first item is the roll call.
Chair Clow,
Present.
Vice Chair Lawrence.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Here.
Commissioner Lucero.
Here.
Commissioner Morondo.
Here.
Commissioner Reland.
We'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Faulkner, were you, well, it's the last time. So the approval of the agenda. Any changes by staff or commission members? If no changes, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Faulkner.
Yes.
Commissioner Lucero.
Yes.
Commissioner Morondo.
Yes.
Commissioner Reland.
Yes.
The motion has been approved.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the minutes of November 2nd, 2023. Are there any changes to those minutes by staff or any commissioner? Not, motion? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I usually don't. But I noticed that on page 6, it said that sorry. One. Yeah, it's on page 6. It said that the Caja del Oro case was going to be postponed to December 5th, and it was postponed until today, which is December 7th. And then also I just wanted to note there was an error in my name. It says Ms. Rachel Herman Manook, and it's Rebecca Manook Herman. So yeah, thought I would bring that up. So those are the only changes. So
And to approve as amended. Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Faulkner.
Yes.
Commissioner Lucero.
Yes.
Commissioner Morondo.
Yes.
Commissioner Reland.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes.
The motion has been approved.
Okay, next is the approval of findings of facts and conclusions of law on case number 2023-6392 5407 Beckner Road preliminary real subdivision. Any changes to those findings and conclusions?
no changes.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Okay, Commissioner Faulkner. Commissioner Lucero.
Yes.
Commissioner Morondo.
Yes.
Commissioner Reland.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith. The motion has been approved.
And finally, the approval of findings and conclusions on case number 2023-6491, which is also 5407 Beckner Road. This is the final serial subdivision. Any changes to those findings and conclusions?
No changes.
If not, motion.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Lucero.
Yes.
Commissioner Morondo.
Yes.
Commissioner Reland.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Faulkner.
Yes.
The motion has been approved.
There's no old business, so we'll move to new business. Mr. Escobar.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, this presentation is going to be an overview of the report that you have in your packet. It'll be very brief. This is case number 2023-7207, 1941 Caja del Oro Grant Road General Plan Amendment for Residential Mountain and Rural Protection Area to Community Commercial. Also case 2023-7208, 1941 Caja del Oro Grant Road rezoning from R1 to C2. Carl Summer and Associates LLP agent for Santa Fe Don Juan's Land LLC. Applicant is requesting both the requests. The property is located The property is a plus minus 4.36 acre lot located at 1941 Caja de Oro Grant and within the River and Trails Archaeological Review District. Planning Commission, staff recommendations, the Planning Commission should recommend the governing body, one, approve case 2023-7207, 1941 Caja del Oro Grant General Plan Amendment from Residential Mountain to Rural Protection Area to Community Commercial. And number two, approve case 2023-7208, case 23-7207. I think that's an error. 1941 Caja del Oro Grant Road rezoning from R1 to R2. Or approve or deny case 2023-7208 Caja del Oro Grant Road General Plan Amendment from Residential Mountain and Rural Protection Area to Community Commercial. And approve or deny case 2023-7208 1941 Caja del Oro Grant Road rezoning from R1 to C2. Property is again located just south of Caja del Oro Grant Road and east of the intersection of Veterans Memorial Highway. It's actually even east of the previous case that was before you that the city was presenting. Here you're going to see a couple images. To the upper left, this is the existing general plan, which is low density residential. That's 3 to 7 dwelling units per acre. And you have a zoning of R1. This was brought in that way at the time of annexation. They're proposing the future land use map change from that yellow that you see up at the top to the red, which is community commercial, and then proposing a rezoning from R1 to C2. The annexation occurred as part of phase 2 of the initiated annexation plan back in 2013. It was, as you can see on the map, again, you've seen this map several times before, the ordinance 2013-36. This was originally part and is still part of the Southwest Area Community Master Plan that was adopted as part of the general plan. However, as a direct result of changes to that area and the abolishment of the exterritorial zone and the low housing for the city of Santa Fe, the city has approved many developments in that area. Caja de Oro subdivision, which is now R10, Madera Apartments, which is R21, Gerhardt Apartments, which is R21, and Alexander subdivision, which is R7. The average density for that whole area came out to be R12. Now, this was a big change from the original general plan for the Southwest Area Master Plan, because it originally wanted a very, very low density equal to 1 house per 10 acres, which is, the city really can't afford to have that kind of density in a municipality. The applicant has complied with 14.32 amendments to the general plan, established approval criteria for amendments to the general plan, table 3, general plan amendments from residential mountain to community commercial. The applicant did meet all of the criteria as indicated in your report, along with section 14.35A and C set forth in approval criteria for the rezoning. We did find that the applicant did comply or meet and address all of the criteria necessary for the staff to recommend approval. There was an early neighborhood notification meeting on July 19th. There was nobody in attendance at the time. Again, staff is recommending approval. If you have any questions, I can stand and add. This concludes my presentation for tonight.
Any questions before we hear from the applicant? Any questions of Mr. Esquivel? Commissioner Lucero?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Escabel. Quick question. I just noticed that this overlaps perhaps with the Nancy Rodriguez Community Center, which is just across from Romero Park. And I just wanted to confirm that that community center is still in place and maybe won't be impacted by this development.
The community center is still there. I'm not quite sure how that's going to impact that area since, again, this is just the rezoning. It's a change from its current state to a new state, so that development can occur. This body will again see all the application that comes in that triggers planning commission review when they come in. So for commercial, if they exceed 10,000 square feet of developable or structural area of square footage, then it's going to trigger because it's within 200 feet of a residential district. Planning commission review, whether that's a subdivision of 3 or more, or a development exceeding 10,000 or greater. And then we'll be able to address those impacts more appropriately when we have something to review. Right now, the only issues that we look at when we're doing the general plan and rezoning is city infrastructure capable of handling the impacts of this change from basically R1 to community commercial? And all of the DRT members did not have any significant comments that warranted us to recommend denial.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Wieland?
Thank you, Chair. So I know that on this area, there's Prairie Dog Loop, and then there's also Hernandez Lane. So has it been figured out that there will still be legal access for the homeowners that are beyond where this subdivision or commercial planning is going to go?
I don't believe that their access is going to be altered. This property does have access off of Caja del Oro Road. And I think what they're going to do is combine this piece of property with the adjacent property that the planning commission has already rezoned in order to create more of an area to service that community with commercial development, and possibly more additional residential development.
Will they finish off Prairie Dog Loop beyond
I'm
where
not
the
sh-
property is?
I'm not sure, since for a rezoning, we're not allowed to provide conditions of approval for an ordinance. So until we can actually get a traffic analysis for the development that they're doing, we won't know what kind of road improvements could be or would be required as a direct result of their application.
Any other questions? If not, we'll hear from the applicant. Mr. Summers?
Swear you in? Do you swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Carl Summer. My address is P.O. Box 2476, Santa Fe, New Mexico 87504. Good evening, Chairman, members of the commission. To answer your question, Commissioner Wieland, we actually, Mr. Garcia purchased this property a long time ago, and he has actually platted easements for access to the residential properties that are beyond and along this that was not there before. So he has provided access that would allow them to, and he's going to actually build out the roads that are for those residential units that are there. Right now, if you're familiar with Prairie Dog Loop and Hernandez Lane, they're not really roads. They're designated, and but the idea was to preserve that access for those residents that are there and to improve it. And so as we come forward, that will be an integral part. This property will not have as its main access through that area. It'll come from the South Meadows. And going to just briefly, this property is owned by an LLC called Don Juan's Land, and that's Carlos Garcia and Sylvia Garcia. And Carlos and Sylvia are lifelong residents of Santa Fe, and they have a huge investment in this community. They brought Pulte Homes for the R10 development that is just north of this piece of property. And Mr. Garcia and Ms. Garcia brought Thrive as part of the Madera apartments that are right next to this property as well. So they brought a mix of residential uses to this. And there is a dire need for community services, commercial services to service people service these homes and that are coming in. And Mr. Garcia has a lot of experience in dealing with shopping centers locally. He purchased the design center and has refurbished it and reinvigorated it. You all know where the I can't remember, O'Reilly's is on St. Francis on Cerritos Road. That strip mall was falling apart and he's revitalized it, refurbished it, brought community services. There's a little restaurant in there. So he's got a lot of experience and a huge investment in his community. This is part of that continuing investment. And what he'd like to do here is bring to you all a development that serves these local residential needs for services. And we've been talking to grocery stores. That's the big thing that people would like to see, so they don't have to travel far. And the access to that property is very good off of South Meadows, and it's got 599. So that would be an incredible addition. This little 4-acre tract was zoned R1 when it was brought into the city, and that's the sort of holding. And we all been through that before. And this is in keeping with an overall plan to make this property service this entire area, this community. And it's by two people who have an interest and a commitment to Santa Fe. I'm not going to go through all the criteria. It's all been laid out. I think it's pretty straightforward. We'd stand to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Faulkner?
This is to staff. Is there a point when density increases that impact fees increase? Like, are there certain categories of density that would trigger?
I would rather have some answer impact fee questions. I'm not very familiar with that one.
Thanks, Chair Clow, Commissioner Faulkner. So impact fees are all set as part of the capital improvement plan that's adopted by the city, and they're assessed for residential properties based on different sizes of dwelling units of a tiered system. And then there's also rates for commercial properties and at different uses based on the intensity of the use as determined by the capital improvement plan. And those are all set and applied uniformly, throughout. So if there's dwelling units on this property, those will be assessed as residential impact fees. And if there's commercial property, that would be assessed per square footage of the various uses. That would be if it was a retail establishment or grocery store, like storage, let's say, is another type of a use that we assess impact fees for. Okay.
Any other questions? If not, we'll open this matter up for public comment. Anyone here from the public wanting to comment on this application? If so, please come forward.
Need to go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Oh, sorry. Lauren Martinez, live at 41 Prairie Dog Loop. I don't see how this is going to help the community at all in that area. Besides too much traffic, those roads aren't going to be able to handle any of this development. It's already going to be hard with the 2 apartment complexes that they put by the school and the new one that they're developing. I don't see, and it's just going to be a mess. There's not enough road. The road isn't developed enough for what they want to do, want to develop there. It's just not going to work. And even with the apartments, once they're done, they're going to have a lot of trouble there on our Fria, on South Meadows, on Kahade Railroad. I know when they did that development on the apartments, they said that they're gonna divert the traffic to 599. But you can just go around the roundabout, come back to South Meadows and cause problems on our Fria and all those roads in there. That's one of my concerns. And I really don't want, I don't want commercial buildings that close to me. They're gonna be from here to that wall to me. I really don't want any commercial buildings that close to me. That's all I have to say against that.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Is there anyone else here from the public that wants to comment? Maggie, is there anyone online?
Thank you, Chair Clow. I do not see any members of the public on the Zoom.
Okay, we will close the public comment portion of this matter. Any other comments from commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve case 2023-7207. 1941 Caja del Oro Grant Road General Plan Amendment from residential mountain to rural protection area to community commercial.
Commissioner Morondo,
Yes.
Commissioner Reland,
I'll abstain on this.
Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Faulkner, Commissioner Lawrence,
Yes.
Commissioner Lucero.
Yes.
The motion has been approved.
Okay, the next is case number 2023-7208, 1941 Caja de Oro Grant Road rezoning from R1 to C2. Is there a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Reland,
Abstain.
Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Faulkner, Commissioner Lucero,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence, Commissioner Morondo.
Yes.
The motion has been approved.
We will next move on to staff communications.
Thanks, Chair Clow. I don't have anything to report. Back to the Planning Commission tonight. Unless anyone has any more questions for me.
Matters from the commission. I first want to congratulate Commissioner Faulkner. We're going to miss you. But you'll do a good job, I'm sure. And a lot of time.
I almost didn't run because I enjoyed being. So I've enjoyed meeting each and every one of you, I've enjoyed what I've learned from all of you. And I look forward to working with you as a city councilor and the staff. You know, you will have a very strong advocate. City council. Because land use is one of my passions. I got your back.
Anything else from the commission? Okay, if not, we'll adjourn.
I know. I was just curious.